The Tide Talk with Webb, and we back, baby! Me and Penelope. Say hey, Penelope. Well, anyway, we're about to have the Bama game breakdown, some other notes, some injuries. What's that? Oh, she said LSU sucks. Anyway, some funny comments I was reading about Ed Orgeron and about the loss to Bama. He made a comment that he outgained us, and they outperformed in certain aspects, but they just didn't have it on the board. And he was asked by a guy about, well, where's the state of the program? He said, well, we coming, and we ain't scared, we ain't backing down. What are you talking about, Ed Orgeron? Like, are you talking about the fact that you're headed to the Poinsettia Bowl, the All-State Battery Bowl, the Polon Weed Eater Bowl? Because it's not any of the BCS bowls. It's nothing big. And last I looked, you were 21st in recruiting. You only had 6 4-stars. Most of all your people are going to Bama, Georgia. Hell, half of them are going to A&M. And that's another dumpster fire. Don't even get me started on that one. I mean, so, I don't know what that comment. We're coming. Well, you ain't coming for Alabama. You're not coming for Troy State. Whatever, bro. Anyway, let's go to the Bama game breakdown against LSU. First quarter. Took Bama 46 minutes to score. Why? Why? Boop. Sorry. I'm exciting my co-host here. She's getting a little nervous. Anyway, I don't know why it took us so long to score. It just seemed like some of the things that Jalen Hurts was doing, we were out of rhythm. Now, I will say in the game that we left about 2 touchdowns on the field because of drop passes. So, Ruggs did have a long pass. Hurts threw to Irv Smith for a TD. That was in the first quarter. Second quarter, Bo for a TD. Scarborough got in the end zone. It was kind of a sluggish first quarter. LSU did score. Third quarter, LSU scored. Very sluggish. Fourth quarter, Papa DiGiorgio kicked a field goal, puts us up 24 to 10 in the first quarter. LSU had another field goal, 24-10. Yep. She said LSU is headed for hell. So, I mean, I really don't know. I mean, the sad thing that I think that I would take out of the game is we did enough to win, but the 5 of 14 first downs, what? Yeah. She said that's pathetic. She said 5 of 14 first downs is not going to cut it against big-time teams like Georgia, Washington in the playoffs, what have you. So we're going to improve. I got full faith and confidence. Bama will improve and do fine. We'll do better. Injuries report. Alabama is depleted on defense. We have Minka Fitzpatrick pull up with a hamstring. We also had Sean Deion Hamilton. He's out for a year with a knee injury. It kind of sinks. Mac Wilson went out. She said Mac Wilson went out with a foot injury. So he's out. Penelope said that in her opinion, that getting Miller and Lewis back, when we get them back, if it's for the playoffs or the SEC championship, will be crucial in us to winning the game. So hopefully we get them back. Like I said, I'm just praying we get them back because it's unheard of to have 4 starting linebackers out for the year. That's a tough break for anybody. So hopefully we get them back. A cool article I read about Bo Scarborough. The dude's still hungry. He's pushing. It said basically in this game we rushed for 116 yards. It's a season low. 36 rushing carries. Like I said, Hurts had 44 yards of the 116. So he had literally almost 15%. That's unacceptable. On some of these third down and 3s, third down and 5, we should be able to run and get a few yards. Like, there should be no excuse for this. But of all the rushing yards, Damian Harris and Bo Scarborough only had 72 yards combined. That is amazing. But in their defense, like I said, they were running 8-man and 9-man fronts. Every time that we had a good gain on the ground, they were 6-on-6, and we had a man-on-a-man, and we did great. So we'll see. But most teams going into playing us will sell out on the run because they're still not convinced of Hurts' ability to throw. Although we saw a taste of it against LSU. We saw a taste. We just need those receivers to pick it up, catch some more balls, and we'll be good to go. He was asked, what do we need to do better? And he said, we need to run the ball. That's what we do. And especially we need to get tough and run the ball. That's what he said. And I totally agree with him. Like I said, he said also in this report, in the story, that he blames it on his not being better prepared and making mental errors in blocking. As we saw, he got eat up in the background because one of the tight ends, I think it was Smith, didn't even block a guy. Guy came loose on a jailbreak and ate him up, nearly got a safety. Saban led the game on being able to capitalize on man-to-man passing downs, a.k.a. drop passes, like I said before. What? Yeah. Saban's going to get them. Saban's going to make sure they're all right. She's concerned about the passing game. I told her, just hang on. Just hang on. It's going to be all right. There's 4 takeaways that I thought were interesting from the Bama game. Defense did shine, despite everything else. We did pretty good. LSU only gained 7 more yards than we did. And LSU had 13 more plays than Bama did. Pretty good. Running back rotation was kind of interesting. I saw Bo Scarborough get more carries than Harris. I thought it was kind of interesting. We hadn't seen that all year. And the wide receivers, we saw Smith and Judy play a lot more than anybody else. So Foster was kind of on the back burner, and Sims was too, which I thought was kind of interesting. Sims being a bigger body guy, which is good to have against the big body guys, defensive backs of LSU. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And Scott is back. J.K. Scott, baby. He changed field positions like 4 times for us, maybe 5. I mean, the guy was an all-star. He looked like his old self, his old form. So that was amazing, I thought, in the game. Okay, why Alabama star specialist made a big difference against LSU for Bama in the kicking game. Cool story. Javier Arenas, as we all know, is on the coaching staff right now, and he told J.K. Scott, because J.K. Scott's been so up and down this year in punting and been struggling. It's been a mental thing with him. He's been upset. But I thought what was cool was Arenas told him, focus each kick in practice like it is a game time rep. Every single one, go into it mentally preparing yourself as it is a game time rep. And it must have had an effect because 8 punts landed inside the 20. 3 of 5 kickoffs were touchbacks. It changed field positions 3 or 4 times, according to AL.com. So that was awesome. We got injury updates. As we know, Fitzpatrick could be seen. He was working out yesterday, and he had a black jersey on and everything. He was kind of running around. Dylan Moses mostly played linebacker. Mostly played outside linebacker in the past. But he's the next man up, so he's going to be playing more middle linebacker according to what I'm seeing in some of the practice reports and whatnot. We're also going to see Keith Holcomb and Dylan Moses. There's going to be a little drop-off between those guys because Dylan Moses hadn't played a lot. What? Penelope says I'm wrong. She believes there's not going to be any drop-off and they're going to be fine. But I think there's going to be a little bit. Keith Holcomb is very well versed in the defense and he knows what's going on, so I have faith. Penelope, she doesn't have so much faith. But what does she know? She is a baby. What do you know about football? You're a baby! I'm just kidding. You know a lot about football. You hang out with me all the time. Okay, another Alabama practice report. Minka Fitzpatrick and Tony Brown both have hamstring injuries. So we hope to get those guys back. Penelope says she thinks Tony Brown's going to be fine. Minka Fitzpatrick will see limited field reps this coming week against Mississippi State. We got to go to Mississippi State, so that's going to be interesting. Outside linebacker Ben Davis is working in a lot in the rotation, so I think we're going to see him this coming week. Middle linebacker Hamilton and Wilson was out. We saw Vandarius Cowan. He's the guy I mentioned this spring because he's so fast and he's really good. Was working with Mikhail Benton with a scout team jersey. They were working in. Cowan was working with the first team. Benton was with the scout team with a black jersey. So I think we're going to see both those guys this coming week, especially look for Cowan a lot. Left tackle Williams was limited. He was also injured. We saw Alex Leatherwood was working in his place with the starters. So I'm sure we may see him a little bit, so our offensive line may get tweaked a little bit. But we're playing Mississippi State, so it's not the caliber of what LSU had, so I think we'll be good. Well, that's all I got for today. Later in the week, look for Paul and Penelope's top 25 pick'ems of the week. You can take it to the bank. Anyway, for Paul Webb, And Penelope Webb, this Tide Talk is out.